You just picked up the dinner tab for the third time this month, forcing a smile while quietly calculating how much your generosity is actually setting back your own freedom. The brutal truth is that being the highest earner in your circle creates an invisible financial obligation that will slowly bleed your wealth dry. And nobody is going to warn you about it. Not your accountant. Not your financial advisor. Not your friends, because they're the ones benefiting from your silence. Here's what this video is actually about. It's not about being selfish. It's not about cutting people off. It's about exposing the exact psychological mechanism that transforms your income into a communal resource the moment your network finds out what you make. By the end of this breakdown, I'm going to show you the precise behavioral trap that has quietly destroyed the net worth of more six-figure earners than any market crash in recent memory, and the one wealth protection boundary the top earners use to guard their capital without burning a single relationship. Meet Daniel, a 34-year-old senior director at a logistics firm in Los Angeles. He's pulling $285,000 a year in W-2 income. He drives a respectable car, lives in a clean neighborhood, and by every external metric, he's winning. But Daniel hasn't crossed $180,000 in liquid net worth in 3 years. Not because he's irresponsible, because Daniel is the wealthiest person in every room he walks into. And that title comes with a hidden invoice nobody signs but everyone submits. His cousin's rent. His college friend's business idea that needed just a quick bridge loan. The family vacation where he quietly covered 4 hotel rooms because you're doing well, man. Every single month, Daniel's post-tax income is being redistributed before it ever reaches an investment account. And the most dangerous part? He's doing it voluntarily. Because the psychological cost of not doing it feels more expensive than the money itself. That's your first hard reset. The financial bleed isn't coming from poor investment decisions. It's coming from a deeply conditioned identity trap. The belief that your financial success is a shared resource, not a personal asset. Call this what it is, the provider premium. It's the invisible surcharge laid on top of every high-earning man the moment his income becomes socially visible. And it operates through 3 distinct pressure channels, each one more psychologically precise than the last. The first is proximity entitlement. When your network watches you upgrade their apartment, the car, the wardrobe, they unconsciously recalibrate their assumptions about your liquidity. They don't know your effective tax rate. They don't know about your deferred comp vesting schedule or your student loan payoff timeline. They see output signals. They draw a mental budget for you. That mental budget becomes the invisible baseline for every single ask. And the asks escalate proportionally with your visible success. Daniel's income grew 40% over 4 years. His informal financial obligations to his network grew faster. The second channel is the guilt transfer. This is where it gets precise. Because the people making the asks your family, your longtime friends aren't malicious. They're operating from a completely rational position inside their own financial reality. When your brother-in-law asks for $8,000 to cover a medical gap, the emotional math in his head is simple. You make $285,000 a year. This is a rounding error for you. What he doesn't factor in is your federal effective rate, your California state income tax, your 401k contribution, your mortgage. In a high-tax state like California, $285,000 in gross W-2 income translates to somewhere around $158,000 in actual take-home. You're not sitting on a pile of surplus cash, but the guilt of explaining that feels worse than just writing the check. So you write the check. Every time. Because being perceived as unwilling to help by people who love you is a cost most high-earning men simply aren't equipped to absorb. The third channel is social anchor drag. This one is the slowest and the most lethal. Your peer group shapes your financial trajectory more than any single investment decision. When you're the ceiling of your social circle, the highest earner, the most financially stable, there's no one in that room pulling you forward. There's only gravity pulling you back toward the group's average. You fund the group trips. You subsidize the group dinners. You carry the group's financial anxiety on your personal balance sheet, while your own wealth building sits in neutral. Meanwhile, the people operating at your next financial level, the ones building actual generational capital, are in entirely different rooms. Here's the number that anchors everything. If Daniel redirects just $2,500 per month, a conservative estimate of his informal network obligations, into a properly structured investment vehicle over 10 years, the compounding differential at a conservative 8% annual return produces a gap of over $458,000. Not $458,000 in extra income. $458,000 in foregone wealth that quietly evaporated into dinners, loans that became gifts, and obligations nobody formally acknowledged. That's not generosity. That's a wealth transfer with no contract, no return, and no exit. The restructuring isn't about disappearing from your network. High earners who abruptly cut financial ties create social fractures that generate their own psychological cost. Isolation, resentment, identity confusion. That's a losing trade. The actual move is building what I'd call a fixed generosity ceiling. A predefined, non-negotiable limit on the liquidity you make socially accessible. Think of it like the difference between running an open tab at a bar versus preloading a gift card. The generosity is real, but the architecture controls the exposure. Practically, this means you stop making real-time financial decisions under social pressure. You build one clean, honest response. I operate on a structured financial plan. I can't make commitments outside of it. No apology. No lengthy explanation. That single sentence, delivered without anxiety, reframes your boundaries as professional discipline rather than personal rejection. It shifts the conversation from your willingness to your system. It also means you stop letting your visible lifestyle function as a credit signal to your network. The car, the apartment upgrade, the business class seat your friend saw on Instagram. These are involuntary advertisements for a liquidity that may not exist post-tax. Managing your social footprint isn't vanity. It's capital protection. Daniel's real problem was never his income. It was that he let his identity get fused to a role: the provider, the successful one, the guy who has it figured out. And that role came with a recurring financial obligation he never consciously agreed to. Dismantling that role doesn't require a confrontation. It requires a quiet, deliberate decision about what your success is actually for. Because here's the pressure point most high earners never examine. Every dollar that exits your balance sheet through informal obligation is a dollar that will never compound. And capital that doesn't compound doesn't just stay flat, it retreats, while inflation quietly erodes its purchasing power. The provider premium isn't just costing you money today. It's costing you the version of freedom you're working toward, year after year, in silence. The people you carried will have moved on, and you'll still be picking up the tab. Every dollar silently absorbed through social obligation is compounding into a retirement gap. That hits far harder and far earlier than most high earners ever anticipate. Click the video on your screen right now. And let's pull back the next layer to dissect exactly why waiting to retire will secretly destroy your financial independence before you ever reach it.